This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing.
Welcome to another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Biggers. Alongside me, I got Sakura, I got Rob, I got James. Got a big show for y'all tonight. How's everybody feeling?
Good.
Hey, started from the bottom, now we here.
All right. Rob, you know, we offline, one of the things we're talking about topics, guys, everybody. One thing Rob said was Keyshawn Davis, of course. Why'd you say that? Let's hear about Keyshawn Davis, of course. Why?
Man, he's a star. He's somebody that we definitely need to talk about right now. He is a star. Big time fight for him this past weekend for 135, one of the 135-pound titles. Dennis from Ukraine he took on or whatever. There was some controversy in that fight. Apparently somebody had sent him a fresh pack of bananas going into the fight, trying to taunt him or whatever. Me personally, I think that was somebody from his camp, personally, trying to motivate him, add some motivation on there, whatever. That kind of seemed like it, but he showed up and he showed out. Keyshawn is one of the fighters on my list this year. I think right now with this victory, he's already broken out. He's somebody we got to talk about, and depending on whether or not one of the guys we'll be talking about on Saturday fights or not, I think Keyshawn is a bigger star in the making than one Shakur Stevenson.
It's a big statement from Rob. Big statement. Would you guys echo that? I mean, this win over Berinchyk it speaks volumes. Are you on the Keyshawn Davis train as much as Rob, James, or Sakura?
Yeah. The guy's powerful. He's doing everything well. He's got good size. But at 135, he's the man to beat. I can't wait to see him, if ever, go up against some of the other 135ers and Stevenson and so forth, or Zepeda. But I think he's just as talented, if not better, as all the others. He's right. Good. That good.
We speaking very highly of Keyshawn Davis tonight. Sakura, Tank has even mentioned Keyshawn Davis as a possibility to beat. Bud. God, I can't talk to them. Bud mentioned Keyshawn Davis as a possibility to beat Tank. Would you agree with that as well? Do you see that matchup in Keyshawn's favor?
Well, let's not go crazy. I mean, let's not get crazy just yet. I would like to see him against, what we call a bona fide 135-pounder. Berinchyk did beat Navarrete to get his belt. But, I just still reserve a little bit of caution there. I like what I'm seeing in him for sure. And I think that, he's just on a big, upswing as far as his career right now. And, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing at this point, which is, getting W's and grabbing belts. So he has his first belt. So I was just excited to see him get that WBO belt, so that he could, be able to possibly put together a bigger fight with one of the other two title holders, one being Tank Davis, the other one being Shakur. And I believe Tank did say that he actually preferred the look of Keyshawn right now over a Shakur Stevenson. So maybe there is room for there to be a possible matchup in the near future. And when I say near, I guess that means 2026 at this point. We're probably not talking about this year, even though we're only in February. But I mean, I'm just reserving my caution as usual because, that was a brutal fight that Baranchuk was in against Navarrete. And I don't know how much steam, but he's one of those champions where they, right away was like, okay, yeah, now you can fight Keyshawn. And it's not like one of those champions that can hold their titles for 2 years without facing like stiff competition. So I don't know how much that weighed on him or what kind of shape Baranchuk was in or what have you. But he got him out of there. Keyshawn got him out of there early, which is exactly what he's supposed to do. So I like it. I want to love it though.
You like it, but you don't love it.
Yeah, I don't love it yet. I don't love the action yet. I need to. I want to see him against a Tank and a Shakur and, and a couple of other names that's at 135 right now. Like I just ready for these top tier athletes to start facing each other in matchups.
I definitely agree with you there. Keyshawn Davis currently ranked 4th in America and 7th in the world. So we should be seeing him in all kinds of big matchups here coming here soon.
It's time.
It really is.
That belt.
Now, guys, we talk.
There's no time out.
I cut you off when you kind of glitched out when I did that. I'm sorry. Will you repeat that, James?
I'm saying there's no timeout in boxing. It's time to make that fight against Stevenson or Zepeda or any of the top dogs.
Yeah, let's keep with the big fights. We need another one. Now, we've talked a little bit about this off air right before we got on. Decent card. Rob says you're paying for the pay-per-view. Let's talk a little bit about that, Rob. How much is this pay-per-view? I mean, let's talk who's on it first, right? You already said you want it. Besides, obviously, Bivol-Beterbiev too, which the world is gonna enjoy. What else is selling it for you?
Dubois versus Parker. It's a hell of a matchup, hell of a fight. Two guys coming off of a great year in the heavyweight division, who are now both key challengers to Usyk. So whoever wins this fight right here will be talked about as far as another title shot. They both look great. They're both on the comeback swing. Dubois has some unfinished business against Usyk. He dropped him with a controversial low blow, but he did drop him. If it was a little bit higher, he could be heavyweight champ. Parker is always tough, and he's even tougher right now. He's in the best shape of his life. That fight right there could main event a card. But there's some others that people are really going to enjoy that not a lot of people are talking about on this. Adamez versus Shiraz is a great fight. Both of these guys are polished fighters. Both of these guys are hungry contenders. And this fight, that fight right there could be a huge sleeper fight. Zhang versus Kabil or whatever. The Zhang fight. Both of those guys are thumpers at heavyweight. And that one's going to probably be the first bout on this card. Both of those guys are thumpers. They can thump. It's going to be swinging for the two tree trunks, swinging at each other till one gets chopped down. That's a great fight right there. Listen, Vergil Ortiz is taking on Madrimov. That's a tough fight, especially considering he just came off of a tough fight for Vergil Ortiz. This thing is chopped full of important bouts that really could swing either way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you saved that Vergil Ortiz Madrimov for last. I, for one, am really looking forward to that. One, we get to see how good Vergil Ortiz really is. This is a step-up fight for him. I mean, Madrimov really held his own against Bud, so now we can see how much better Vergil is and how he steps up against Madrimov. I'm gonna be looking at this one very intently on things to come. But yeah, I don't know. That one I think is a straight 50-50 fight. I have not done any polls of any kind of odds, so we will do that live. But is Shakur Stevenson still going? Is that fight canceled again? I'm kind of confused. I thought I heard rumblings of that.
I think at the moment he's TBA.
Never a good place to be. Now,
if they can find a replacement for him, yeah, they're going to go ahead and do it. But I think right now that one's on ice.
And for the people that don't know, let's talk a little bit more about that. Why is it on ice?
So this bout was supposed to be with Schofield out of Britain. Schofield owns the title, has a makeshift title or whatever. They were going to put that on the line. Let that be a showcase for Shakur on this card. Well, apparently Schofield ended up sick this week. And yes, fighters have performed ill. We all know the illustrious Jordan flu game. So we all know athletes can fight with the flu, with the illness, stuff like that. But apparently what they're trying to say is that the British boxing board won't let him sign on to fight, is what they're trying to say. So evidently they don't want to lose their champion. They don't want their champion taking this bout and not being 100%. That's not confirmed on all outlets as of yet. Of course, they're scurrying to find a replacement for Shakur Stevenson. And my guess is that people are thinking Shakur is the draw here, not Schofield. They're really not worried about Schofield. They're worried about scurrying to find Shakur another partner so he could be featured on the card.
And so is this the fight that somebody's claiming somebody was poisoned?
No. There was no claims of poisoning at all on this fight.
Okay, let me do a little bit more on that because Sun, the Sun, they posted something that said world title fight undercard called off in huge poison scandal.
So again, that's the Sun. That tells you a lot. They're looking for headlines. It's not reported on ESPN outlet as of yet. ESPN, though, of course, is going to be slower than Ring. Ring is the one who's pretty much reporting all boxing news as they happen, as they're a part of the negotiations and the promotion for the fight. So they would have the most information out right now, but it's not poisoning. He fell ill. He's sick. That's what the last report states. If anything happened since then, I'm unaware.
Okay. You're very knowledgeable. Thank you for all that info. All right, guys. Let's go in to a little bit more in depth in some of these undercards. We're gonna obviously exclude Stevenson, Schofield. Let's just go up and talk about the fight here between Ortiz and Madrimov. That's for the vacant WBC junior middleweight interim title. Let's talk a little bit more about that. How do you guys see this fight stylistically? Because it could turn into a boring fight.
Yeah, Vergil Ortiz is not the most exciting. I mean, he's good to watch. He does everything right. But Madrimov is kind of the same style in a sense. So, well, they say styles make fights. Hopefully, they'll mix it up. But I could see it getting off to a really slow start. Vergil tends to fight at the same pace the entire fight. He doesn't let up. He doesn't slow down. And he doesn't have a huge arsenal. I mean, he does everything well, but it's just interesting to see what he's going to do. He's got a good opponent. Israil Madrimov is a good fighter. He's been in the ring with some of the best. So this could be one of the best fights of the night, but I just hope they really let loose.
Me too. I'm afraid of that style clash, but I'm interested to see what you guys are going to say.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be boring, but it will probably start slow. I agree with James wholeheartedly that it will probably start slow. They want to fill out each other. So there'll be more than a couple of fill me out type of rounds in the beginning. But once they get going, I think that it'll be action packed. The only thing that I'm interested in seeing is, can Vergil hurt him? Period. Can Vergil do enough to hurt him? Not stop. I don't see a stoppage here, but I want to see if Vergil can actually hurt him, or if Madrimov's just going to be able to really outlast him. Really, that to me is going to be the tell there. Does Madrimov outlast him, or can Vergil do enough to hurt him?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. This is about a 50-50 fight. As you say, I just pulled up the odds for it. We got Madrimov at plus 115, Vergil Ortiz at minus 124.
I think
Vergil Ortiz is a slight favorite.
I think Bud hurt him, but Bud didn't. Bud hurt him, but Bud didn't put his foot on the gas. Bud didn't really put any showmanship in that victory. He just coasted to the victory on him. He didn't want to take the risk. He didn't want to take the chance. Why he didn't, I don't know. It was a new weight class for him, so maybe he was just trying to get acclimated to the weight. I don't know. But I think Bud hurt him, and he didn't capitalize on any of those moments. I want to see if Vergil can actually just hurt him. That's what I want to see, because like the odds say, this is a 50, pretty much close to a 50-50 bout, and I need to see Vergil hurt him to be able to prove to me that he's just as good as Bud.
Sakura?
Yeah, I think Vergil can hurt Madrimov. But Madrimov can also possibly hurt Vergil. So that's where the 50-50 for me comes in. But it's not whether or not Vergil can hurt Madrimov. That's not where it lies at for me. But I would just say that, Madrimov probably hasn't faced that type of pressure that somebody like Vergil Ortiz gives, because he's like, he's very imposing, and he's right in your what do you want to say?
Your grill.
Yeah, he's right up close and personal into your space. That's what I was looking for. So I do think that that's a different look than the type of style that Bud brought to him. But he's got to be aware that that's like, Vergil's most deadliest weapon is just the absolute pressure that he brings, and how he likes to just be dominant in your face. So I'm interested to see what kind of tricks Madrimov has in store for us to try to counter that aggressive attack that Vergil's known for.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. This is about as close as a 50-50 fight myself, but I am leaning slightly towards Ortiz. I do think he's going to be able to hurt him enough to get his attention, put him on his back foot. Madrimov never really fought backing up, at least not a lot. Even the Bud fight didn't really happen very much. So this would be interesting to see how that plays out. Do you guys have predictions for this fight, or do you only want to do like the last two?
We'll do all. We'll do them all.
Yeah.
I would say Vergil Ortiz probably wins by decision on this one. Maybe a split. It could be pretty close.
Yeah.
I don't see this ending knockout either way. I'm going split decision for Ortiz. Yeah,
I mean, you do got two tough sons of bitches. Rob, who you got coming out on top? Because this is going to be a war of attrition. He's not wrong there.
Yeah, James, I've also got Ortiz. I've got him by unanimous. I think he'll get the UD decision on Saturday. I think he does enough showing to does enough showing. I don't think they're gonna give Madrimov any credit here. Again, I don't know if Vergil's gonna hurt him or not. I just think that the judges are gonna he's gonna do enough to sway the judges all that he won the fight. He's not gonna be in as much danger as Madrimov is in this fight. I think they give it to Vergil Ortiz by unanimous decision.
Sakura?
Um, I'm gonna go with Vergil just because of the pressure that he can bring and how intense he is. But Maginov could definitely pull out an upset in this one. Mainly just because I just feel like, it's not a home fight. It's not even a Golden Boy card, technically. We're overseas, so judges may be more inclined to just basically judge it based on, the merits in each round the way that they are supposed to do. So if Maginov can stay busy enough or stay strong enough, then maybe he can pull out the victory. But more than likely, he would have to actually stop Vergil Ortiz. And I don't necessarily see that happening. So that's why I would still lean towards Vergil Ortiz.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
If you asked me last week, I'd probably be leaning slight towards Madrimov, but as it gets closer, I'm starting to lean towards Ortiz, like you guys. I didn't want us all to pick Ortiz, but apparently that's what's going to happen. I do see it close, a lot of back and forth in this one, and I can see what James is saying too with a slow start until they can feel each other out. But another close fight. I see Vergil Ortiz in the Bohocic fight last. I mean, yeah, Bohocic is tough, but would you say Madrimov is tougher than Bohocic?
I don't know.
I think
We shall see.
It's pushing me. It's pushing me. I'm right there. I'm almost saying, hey, Madrimov can pull this off, but we got Vergil Ortiz on the A side. He's already got a couple of rounds in the book, so if it's a close fight, and if it's a close fight, it's going to Ortiz. So I do got Ortiz on points. I'll just say by unanimous, but it'll be close. All right, guys, let's move on here. Talk about next. We got Daniel Dubois and Joseph Parker, IBF heavyweight title. Guys, I really liked this second coming of Joseph Parker. Been more entertaining. I think Andy Lee has really helped him out. Just a completely different guy. And the hunger and the drive is there now that he did not have before. This is going to be, as you said, Rob, I mean, it's a main event upon its own. Could even be a show stealer if Bivol-Beterbiev doesn't pan out.
Well, that's one thing about this card is that all of these are like kind of main event quality. I mean, if you look at this lineup, I think this is one of the best we've ever seen. I mean, there's been a few really, really good ones from Saudi Arabia. This is right up there. I don't recall seeing anything this good, this deep. It's going to be a long day of boxing.
And to James's credit, the real caveat on this card is you have a mixture of heavyweight, and then you also have the middleweights in there. You have prime divisions on this card, and title fights as well. So you have prime divisions here, which is the biggest caveat on this one. But for this fight with Dubois Parker, I mean, this is an IBF heavyweight title fight, but again, you might as well say it's an eliminator, right? It's an eliminator to what's now the undisputed heavyweight title. Like, these guys are at that level. They're both fighting at that level right now. And to be honest, I think this one is a lot tougher to call, Lucas, than the last fight that we just talked about. I think this
Really?
fight is much more closer to me, compared to what these guys have done lately. I think this one is going to be a lot tougher to call for me to pick a winner than the previous bout.
Why is that? Why do you think that is? Do you think it's just that closer of a fight? I mean, you saw the odds for Vegas were practically 50-50. I mean, why do you think this is so?
On this one, you never underestimate the power of a hungry fighter. And both of these guys are equally as hungry for that title. Like, I've never seen Parker as tough and as in shape as he's been. I've never seen Dubois as hungry. Dubois always been in top shape, but he lacked the intensity in his fights. He lacked that hunger. He lacked that hunger. Man, he beat the shit out of Joshua. Pardon my French.
No,
but
he did. You're not wrong.
He beat the crap out of Joshua. That was bad. He beat the crap out of him.
Is it bad though for me that doesn't really say a lot, right? Like, I'm sorry, but the win over Josh. I'm not trying to be funny or an asshole. I'm really not. But AJ's mental state is not there. He's not always ready to fight. You never know if you're going to get, head case AJ, or if you're going to get an AJ that's going to whoop the shit out of you for 12 fucking rounds.
Yeah, but
there are very different people that show up each fight. AJ is completely different in all of his fights.
Yeah, but that's what they used to say about Dubois. That he lacked the intensity. He lacked the headspace.
Well, can I get your reaction on the odds? Is that how you thought it would be? I mean, it's still close, but do you think Dubois should be the favorite?
He's only the favorite because he beat Joshua, right? They're not counting Parker over Dillian White. I mean, Dillian White right now is a joke to everybody. So they're not, and that was his comeback fight. They're not counting him against Zhang because he went down in that fight. And who the hell really knows who Zhang is, right? They're not counting that. They're counting Joshua. They're counting the name. So even though you say that's not big to you, obviously it is to everybody else.
I mean, I would just say that the AJ versus Dubois fight was kind of like, you never know where AJ was at because it happened so early. And it's to me, it's kind of looked like he never was able to recover from that first initial, hook that really, dropped him. So, but I do understand what Lucas is saying because, yeah, it does seem to be two AJs that show up. But for Dubois versus Parker, this is a different ball game now. Like, you got to face Parker, who's on he's having some great wins. He's pulling out victories where he needs to. And he's got Andy Lee, as you said. So with that being said, now that's crunk all day as far as heavyweights are concerned, and that type of heavyweight old school type training. So it is a different Parker we're seeing. There's no doubt about it. The thing that gets me is Dubois previously in the last couple of weeks or so, there was a lot of talk about his next fight. Not so much about who he's facing like right now. And I hope that wasn't, you can't help what questions media decides to ask you. That's not the issue. But I hope that there wasn't so much buzz about who he possibly could be fighting, which is Usyk, that he's kind of like lost the focus when it comes to Parker because he does need to get through this fight. But I actually do feel like, if he doesn't hurt, if Dubois doesn't hurt Parker early on, I think that Parker is in pretty good shape to win this fight if it comes to a judge's card, in my opinion. First of all, you got previous fights where, Dubois hasn't necessarily been the favorite on judges' cards already. And second
No,
of all, you got
stylistically, you're right. Yeah.
yeah, like stylistically, it's not there. So, um, then you also got the fact that he would have if he really wanted a decision like he had AJ. That was a stoppage. Like, do we see him stopping Parker? Parker has been stopped in the past, so that is something that could happen. I just think the odds are a lot easier for Parker to avoid, being that everybody knows that Dubois' power is in his left hook. So, he just has to be mindful about staying away from that, as opposed to, not being systematically broken down over a sustained period of time, or maybe like instead of him having to be watching out for both hands as much as someone that is got power in both hands. I just feel like Parker got a chance here to win, and if he does, do we want to see a Usyk versus Parker? Because I think we were all looking forward to
Yeah.
seeing Dubois face Usyk again in a rematch.
I think I
So,
would rather see Parker. Go
okay.
ahead, James. Go ahead, James.
Dubois hungry. I mean, he wants that fight with Usyk, and he wants to kind of rectify that a little bit. So, and he's a slight favorite here. So, I would go with Dubois in this one.
You would.
He's got a really, really good boxer in Joseph Parker, but I think one of the things that Dubois got to do is muck this one up a little bit and fight on the inside and keep it on the inside and really not let Joseph Parker off the hook. Because if Joseph Parker steps back and starts to box and use his length,
Mm-hmm.
a long night for Dubois. But again, Dubois on the inside he's gonna make it really tough for Parker. I can't wait. This is another one, man. It's another fight that I just can't wait to see. This whole card is just over the top.
I think these odds should be flipped. I really do. I think Parker should be the favorite in this one. And I think
it's pretty close.
It is this close. But as we were talking about earlier, I'm in favor in last fights. Dubois had kind of an easier fight. Let's call it what it is. A win over Zhang, to me, matters more than the win over AJ. It just does. To come back from that kind of a beating. I mean, Parker Zhang is a physical fucking fight. Dubois versus AJ was a walk in the park compared to fucking Parker Zhang, okay? So he's already got, I mean, Dubois might feel like easy work compared to Zhang. I don't even know how that one would pan out. So I'm heavy for Parker in this one. I think there is nothing that Dubois can give him that Parker cannot take. And just as Sakura said, he's easier to game plan for. If I'm making a game plan, it's much easier to game plan for Dubois than it is to game plan for this new Parker. That's just me.
Yeah, but Dubois.
I like Parker. I'm gonna say late stoppage.
Again, Dubois was a couple of inches higher, being a heavyweight champ and beating Usyk. That win, Joshua win. He's legit. He's a legit guy. And if there's one thing that you can't game plan in this one, it's going to be that power. I've got Dubois winning this bout by a late stoppage.
There we go.
I don't see Dubois getting stopped here, but man, this is a good one.
I got Dubois beating Parker by a late stoppage, I should say, yes.
Sakura, did you pick?
I'm on mute. I did. I was basically saying Parker. I give Parker the edge in this particular fight. Not quite sure how, but I definitely agree with James when he's saying, like, the slick boxing that Parker can have as an advantage, and use his height and his reach. It seems like a lot for Dubois to overcome, even though Dubois do have a hell of a lot of power. And we've seen what happens when he's able to effectively use it earlier in a fight.
Well, they both got some pretty sick resumes. I mean, these guys have gone up against some real heavyweight. Wilder, Zhilei Zhang, Ergovich, Terrell Miller, Usyk. I mean, they're all there. So I'm looking at both of them combined, but this is really impressive. This is a really, really killer matchup.
And it's the only second one we talked about, Lucas. You got your predictions, man. Go. You need help with the others?
Oh, I might. Let's see here.
All right. So another one I did not mention, James, and I know you're looking forward to this one because you know these two guys as well. But it's going to actually start off with, and we forgot this name, guys, but Callum Smith. Callum Smith taking on Joshua Butassi. Yeah, I mess up names, but Joshua Butassi or whatever, Butusi. That's the first fight on this bout. And guys, even that one they're saying is a main event worthy clash because they're both rivals, they're both equally skilled, and it's another close bout.
And now in jail for the WBO light heavyweight title, or interim title, my bad.
James, do you think Callum has it still?
No, I think Boatsi mops the floor with Callum Smith. Early knockout.
Early knockout.
Yeah, he's going to rock him early in the first round. Maybe by the second round, we'll have taken care of him. Short night for Boatsi. Piece of cake.
Well, I think Callum Smith bounces back. It's always in these type of atmospheres and these type of fights where y'all say he's done, he should retire after getting beat, that he comes out and he wins. And he smashes his opponent and he wins. I got Callum Smith. It's not going to be a knockout. Somehow, some way, he gets to the end of the bout and he does enough to win the fight.
You know, I'm going with Butassi on this one. I don't even want to see Callum Smith win. I mean, let's keep the undefeated. Oh man, let's keep the undefeated streak going. I'm still a little salty with Callum Smith in his fight against Canelo. You put yourself on the damn ropes. Get the hell out of there. I don't, man. Yeah, no, Butassi decision.
I don't know. I was looking at the bout card here, and then for the last 6 fights, and I see that Beterbiev knocked out Callum Smith. And so, I don't know. I just don't see him lasting very long. I don't think he's very durable. I think he's at his best day. And I think Boatsi is on the come up. So, yeah, short night for Boatsi.
Callum Smith, I'm pulling for you, baby. I want to send that "I told you so" message to everybody.
What else didn't we mention, Rob?
Next, you have again Zhang, as we mentioned, against Ajit Kabayel. Ajit we've seen on the Ryder season bouts. He's an up and coming heavyweight. He's a little bit smaller, but he can thump. The only thing is that, James, this is going to be probably a hell of a weight and size advantage, isn't it, for Zhang?
Well, yeah. He's 6'6" versus 6'3", and I don't know, they're both heavy as fuck. But I think Zhang is just bigger. I think he's bigger. But
bigger overall, yeah.
Yeah, Kabayel stopped Frank Sanchez in his last
Right.
fight. And Frank Sanchez is a serious competitor. I don't think he was 100% that night, though. But Zhang, shit, he is big and he punches hard, man. And he took care of Joe Joyce. That says a lot. So, man, I don't know. To me, another 50-50 here. Whoever's the matchmaker for this card is doing their fucking job. They deserve a pat on the back.
It's going to be a great fight, whoever wins. This one, I don't know if I can call it. It's going to be just a back and forth war. I can't see Zhang not come out on top on that one, but oh, what a sight it'll be for however long it lasts.
Well, in his last fight, Zhilei Zhang stopped the Bronze Bambi. So,
Bambi.
Right. Right. Right.
That says a lot.
It does. I like Ajit. I like him a lot. He has fought other monsters in the division on DAZN, and the kid can just thump, and he has a heavy motor. He keeps going and going at you with those thunderous shots. But I do think Zhang will be able to land some that'll definitely keep him off of him. So this is an interesting bout to me, but G is really who I'm rooting for and who I'm wanting to win. And yeah, you're right, James. That Frank Sanchez bout was really his coming out party.
Right.
This could possibly be another one. I like him to take the edge in this fight. I like a G.
I think that Frank Sanchez was really out of shape in that fight. He wasn't prepared. I don't know if he was having some type of illness prior to or what, but it wasn't definitely not the best Sanchez that we've seen. My thing is, in this one, you have to be pretty heavy-handed and pretty good in shape to be able to kind of get a Zhang out of there, Like, that's what makes Joseph Parker's win over him, like, so exuberating, because everybody's like, oh, my God! He knocked this giant down, He got him out of there. So, I think right now Zhang is like, damn, I gotta, mentally, he's gotta make something happen here, because you don't want to slide down that call log on some of these bigger fights right now, especially when there's a whole new crop of talent that's slowly creeping in. Like, but if you don't look good, Zhang, that's what's gonna happen. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna not be. I'm gonna reserve my answer on this one because I gotta really go back and look and see exactly what I see with the other boxer. I wish I can't pronounce his name. It's a little bit too.
Just go with the Great Wall of China and play it safe.
The Great Wall. I mean, I gotta give him a fair look first, James. I can't just throw my hat behind the name I can pronounce, as they say. But it's a little much for my Southern accent.
What's up next, Robert? Did we talk about everything? We can't talk about Schofield, right?
So you did cover the Vergil Ortiz. We covered Dubois and Parker. We talked briefly about Shakur Stevenson. The last one is the Carlos Adamez versus Herman Shiraz.
Okay, that's a good fight. That's an even matchup type deal for me. And Shabazz's last fight, he had his work cut out for him on that one. I don't know. I remember the fight, and I remember that he didn't have such a glamorous fight. He didn't look impressive in that fight, but he got the W. So I'll give him credit for pulling out that win when it was looking kind of iffy at points in the fight. Now, Adam, he reminds me of like a old school Stevenson, Superman Stevenson, Adonis. So these names are getting very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he reminds me of a boxer like him that has like a lot of power and a lot of strength, just strong in the ring, being able to force his opponents where he needs them to be and really putting pressure on them. So, but Shabazz, he has a little bit more boxing skills, but also he has a great height on him and reach too. So that it just means like I feel like it's an even fight in many ways, but think that Shabazz probably has a little bit more boxing skill than Adamas, sorry, has. But we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't go for either one of them right now. James,
I would
don't
say
be put don't be writing down what I said now. Like I didn't go for either one of them right now.
damn, that's close. So I'm thinking Carlos Adames on this one. He's got a really good resume. He's seen some really, really great competition. I think that's what he's got over Hamza Shiraz. Shiraz has got a good record, but no real notable names on there. Some up and comers, but I think it's time for Carlos Adames to finally step up and get that belt. So this is WBC World Middle. This is going to be a hot fight. This is another close one. It's pretty much 50-50. Maybe like a 55-45, but I just see Adames with his experience pulling this one out, maybe by unanimous decision, possibly, maybe a late stoppage. But this is going to be good. I wouldn't sleep on one.
I'm not sure if that's going to be the case, but I mean, I look forward to seeing this particular fight because I know the last fight that Shiraz had, it was very entertaining. So, and Adames is always entertaining too because, like I said, he just got a lot of fire in the ring and movement and power. So I just want to see what's happening. I mean, Adames, he's a matchroom boxer, isn't he?
I am not sure right offhand. I'm pretty sure Shiraz. I'm pretty much sure that Shiraz is.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Well, he's from the UK, so yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like Queensberry or one of those matchroom things. I'm not sure which one of the two it is, but yeah, no, he just doesn't have the record built up like Adames does. He's so.
Well, my problem is
I'm thinking
every time I seen Adames on a card, he disappoints me.
Yeah.
Every time I see him come up on a card, he doesn't look his look actually is good because he's so damn powerful looking. Reminds you of like a chiseled AJ when he's all chiseled and everything in there. And then he goes and puts up a fight and it's not really entertaining. Shiraz is entertaining. Like you said, Shakura. So I think Shiraz is really going to be the one to push this fight. I want to see Adames and see what he can do and if he can come out of his shell, make adjustments because I really rarely see him make any adjustments in the fight. He just is the same way all the way through the fights.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see if he can make adjustments there as well. I like Shiraz. I think he's gonna pull the action in this fight. I want to see what Adames can do. Period. He hasn't really been tested to force him to do anything big. He doesn't like taking chances. He admittedly doesn't like taking chances in the ring. So that's going to be something to look forward to too. If he gets put in that position, can he do it? So I like Shiraz in this fight until Adames proves me wrong, does something different, makes those adjustments, then I'm not going to be pulling for him. But if he can come out and do a proper showing, as James would say, then yeah, then I like him, but I haven't seen it yet. And then now I see that we're live, but we've lost Lucas, and here he
there
comes
he goes.
I got back. I think I got lucky there. I started the podcast. My internet has been going in and out the last couple of weeks. Never really had a problem on the show, but it just booted me completely. I'm surprised the show was still going when I was able to get in. Glad it is, though.
His internet has the flu, y'all. His internet has the flu.
Something. But it sounds like I came in right at the right time. Bivol-Beterbiev too, y'all.
Wait a minute. Who did you have for Adames versus Shiraz?
I'm gonna go with Shiraz.
Wrong.
I know.
That's a good choice. I went with Shiraz.
I'm going with Shiraz anyway. But I'm going to say decision. Are you the only one, James, that went with Adames?
Yeah, I'm going with Adames. Yeah, he's pretty solid. I think he's got a good resume. He's beat some pretty decent names out there, and I think he's moving forward with a victory here.
We shall see.
Well, he definitely should want this real middleweight title. And I hate to say real, but he should definitely want the full title for middleweight. So that should be enough like incentive. But I'm sure Shiraz has plans for that belt as well. So, you know, he's gonna be just as motivated.
For sure. I'm tired of pretending like it's not this way. Bivol should have won the first fight, guys. He should have won the first fight. I don't. What do y'all have to say? Y'all gonna argue about that, or do you also believe that Bivol should have won the first fucking fight?
I had him like 7-5 or 8-4, something like that. I don't recall exactly what I had, but I just remember that Bivol kind of let up in the last few rounds.
That part.
Beterbiev kind of, swooped in and took those last rounds because he was a little bit more aggressive. But I still had it for Bivol.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed to outland Beterbiev. He seemed to really, hurt Beterbiev more than Bivol ever got hurt in that fight, too. So, I don't know. I did not see the judge outcome. I did not agree with it. I thought it was more of a money thing. There's obviously a little bit more money in Beterbiev's style and how he's presented on camera versus Bivol, who, if you don't have the right opponent, could put somebody to sleep. Let's talk a little bit about that. Do you think Bivol has to change his style, change the way he is going into this fight to get the judge's favor? Or is he just going back to business, back to his discipline like he usually does?
I think the stamina was the issue with those last 2 rounds. I think he just kind of gave out of steam, and I don't foresee that being the same issue in this next fight. But I wasn't mad at Beterbiev winning, and I wasn't. I would have been fine if it would have been a draw too. They both did their things in the way that they do them, and it really highlighted both of their talents and their different skills that they have. So, I believe, like, for me, I'm old school when it comes to boxing. Like, if I'm making you miss, but then I'm not making you pay, then like it's not quite the same for me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
want
hear
you
you,
to
but
make me miss as Bivol was making Beterbiev miss at times, but then you gotta seriously make me pay, and that to me means you're hurting me, and I didn't see that much hurt in that fight. And I just want to say, like, with this same fight, if Bivol comes out and wins those last 2 rounds, or is at least in shape, he just looked like he was tired in them last 2 rounds to me. Like, so maybe he was thinking that it wasn't going to go the distance, even though most of his fights go the distance. So I'm not really sure why that happened. But to me, I feel like his training is probably going to be like, yeah, I got to make sure I'm definitely zoned and locked in for my body to go those 12 rounds with Beterbiev. I mean, maybe the problem was like he's not used to getting as much pressure as Beterbiev does, and maybe it did wear down his body. I don't know, but he got to he got to have a second gear ready this time.
No, it did appear like that. I believe James also said the same thing. Like he kind of, puttered out at the end. But Bivol is that kind of a guy. And if you look at the punch stats from that first one, he doesn't really throw the same amount of punches that a Beterbiev's going to throw. He definitely throws a little bit more conserve. 39 punches, 47. But then you have Beterbiev jumping up to 57, 74, 70, even in the later rounds, 72 in the 11th, 63 in the 12th. That's just not Bivol, though. Bivol steadily stayed around the high 30s to 40s. And then at the end of the fight in 11 and 12, he still threw 34 and 38 punches. It just looks like, because Beterbiev is out punches output, is that much higher, but he's still not landing those punches. I mean, when you're talking about stats in those last couple of rounds, Beterbiev's throwing 21 out of 72 in the 11th, 15 out of 63 in the 12th. And I mean, you have Bivol landing 14 out of 38 in the 12th. So it's still a close fight if you're just looking at the stats of it. But no, I did notice also kind of what you guys did. It seemed like Beterbiev, piled up the aggression towards the end, especially those last two rounds, whereas Bivol seemed to fizzle. Maybe he also didn't have as much zing on those punches that he was putting out. So it definitely is something I'm sure that his camp is looking into as well and trying to make those adjustments. Do you think those are the last two rounds that are going to be those on the scorecard? Better yet, do we have a detailed scorecard of the last fight? Are those two that cost him that fight?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure that like gave Beterbiev the edge. I mean, because it just doesn't look good to judges when you're in championship rounds and you're looking like, you're getting pushed around a bit and that you're not the hungrier or busier boxer. So I would say that was the difference. But I need for Bivol to be a little bit more vicious this time. Like, show us you want this fight and that you want to be vicious some. Like, I know that's not your normal thing, Bivol, but damn it, you're in like what's supposed to be the mega fight of the century with the two of you guys finally meeting up. And, I ain't got time for your pity pat games. Like, you landing, you more accurate, but I need to see like that you want it. That you are the better boxer all around. Because we know he's a better boxer, but Beterbiev just got that, that rah type situation in the ring.
Mode.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, listen.
Beast mode.
What you do in this fight, Lucas, what you do in this fight right here is you take a dry eraser and you wipe the chalkboard clean. Forget about the first fight. Let's wipe that out. First fight is done and over with. This is the fight right here. This is the one for all the marbles. This is the one for your legacy. This is the one for all the titles. This fight right here sets the new president. It sets the new mark. So what happened in the first fight no longer matters. It's this fight that matters. Bivol's gonna come out. We know what we've seen of the man. We know what type of machine he is. He's gonna show us more. He definitely is. He's gonna be more prepared, like Shakur said, for those later rounds, for that pressure, for that aggression. His defense probably will look, in my opinion, remarkably different in this fight. I think his defense will be remarkably different with Beterbiev. But the most important key for Bivol is the timing. And that's going to be in every fight that he's in. It's the timing. Once he gets the timing down and he's able to time Beterbiev when he comes in, when he wants to add the pressure, when he wants to throw a punch, when he's available to get by a punch, that's where Bivol can start to systematically break you down. Beterbiev is always going to be the pressure. It's always. And the type of pressure he brings to you, it does bust pipes. It does. It's broken down every single opponent that he's ever faced. In fact, he's knocked out every opponent but Bivol. So that's already saying a lot. These two know what they're up against. And not only that, the magnitude of this fight that it's on, with the level of disappointment. Yes, I do have to bring that up. The level of disappointment that there was at the end of that first fight. They know they're both going to have to perform. They're going to tighten up what they needed to do. In camps, it's already looking tightened to me. This fight is really going to be the one that we should have seen the first time around. And we're actually going to be able to see Bo fight at a higher level. And I do mean fight, because that first one, more so of a dance routine act, in my opinion. This one now, let's get down to the nitty gritty, as they say, and let's fight.
Now, it wasn't just the last 2 rounds. It was actually the last 3, 10, 11, and 12 on all 3 scorecards.
What I just said, Shakur, I said, put the race board up there and wipe that fight clean. And here go Lucas talking right back to that first
You know, because
I mean, you got to talk first.
Usually, I would agree with you on the rematch, like it's a brand new thing. But when you have a boxer like Bivol that is like highly, the IQ is really high. There's no way he's letting 12 rounds just diminish out of his head and the things that he's learned in those 12 rounds. I don't see that happening. They will be coming into his wheelhouse in the 13th round, as you like. You know, you want to say it's another first round, but I definitely feel like when it comes to Bivol, that's a 13th round. Like, he is not going to forget what he learned from Beterbiev in that first, that first fight. It's not going to happen.
Well, that's what he said in the interviews. He's been asked about that. And he did go back and watch the fights, and he's like ready to correct what he did wrong. He knows what his mistakes were, and I think intensity in the last 3 rounds was a big thing for him. And so, man, this is World War III 3.2. Wait to see this, man. This is like, this entire card is just crazy. You start at like back here on the West Coast, 8 in the morning. And it goes.
Oh my God.
Boxing all damn day.
Yeah, 4 in the afternoon. You guys are lucky because you have that 3-hour differential. But yeah, it's super early here. I gotta have a turkey.
It still might be too early for me, James. I'm a rock star. I don't do early hours.
Let me ask you something.
But I'm telling James, are you gonna have to work Saturday?
Yeah.
So,
let me ask you something, though, James.
Yeah.
Just in general. So, like you said, he went back. He studied the first fight. You're saying Bivol did, and he's ready to kind of correct those wrongs and everything.
Yeah.
Lucas thinks Bivol won that first fight. Do you think he won that first fight, or do you think?
I gave it to Bivol.
You did? Okay.
Yeah. But the crazy thing is that he just really let us down in the last 3 rounds, but it's not based on 3 rounds. It's based on 12 rounds. So I just thought Bivol outscored him in most of those rounds. And, man, it's a shame. But I think he can rectify this.
And that was my real question. Yes. Can he rectify it?
I don't think all based on conditioning. I thought he took some blows that may have slowed him down as well. So you got to give Beterbiev some credit too, because he's a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's tough to be in there with. I don't think anybody wants to be in there with him. Bivol, though, there is where I was talking stats earlier. There's one stat that sticks out above all the rest, and that's this man landed 50% of his power punches on Bivol, or on Beterbiev, I'm sorry. So I got to think Beterbiev's going to be somewhat the same. Bivol is the one that makes those kind of drastic changes, and he's going to look at that style. He's going to be able to outland that. And when you land 50% of your power punches, you're going to do some damage. Beterbiev's the kind of guy that can take it, but I do see Bivol making the changes that is needed here. And if you look at 84 of 168, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of damage. And if it was anybody else not named Beterbiev, they probably would not have withstand that. So, but he already knows him now. You got to think this was the first fight. Now he knows the man. Bivol's got this one. You sit back and you watch. Even with the 2 rounds automatically given to him, I think he dog walks him this fight. clear win.
Okay, let me go next then. No, let me go next. Beterbiev wins this fight.
No wonder you couldn't wait. No. Beterbiev.
Beterbiev wins this fight. Wholeheartedly wins this fight, Lucas.
Tell me how.
He's gonna take the man's heart. He's gonna take his heart. He applies too much pressure. He's a heavier puncher. And
that's for sure.
And this time he ain't playing. This time he is not playing. People over here thinking he lost that first bout. He knows he won it. He knows what happened toward the end of the fight. He knew Bivol couldn't handle the pressure. This time Bivol comes and is a lot more sharper. Maybe he does try and handle the pressure in the later rounds. Guess what happens? He gets caught. He gets caught. The biggest fight right now is this fight right here. You know what's bigger? Beterbiev. That's what's on the horizon. Beterbiev does what he needs to do. He applies the pressure, frustrates Bivol, wins the fight in the last 2 rounds.
I think we're going into a rubber match, buddy. I can't see it. One, I mean, Beterbiev's getting older and older, so he's definitely not getting more young. Bivol's getting smarter. I really don't see Beterbiev. Beterbiev's the same Beterbiev. You know what I mean? Bivol can apply different tactics. We don't really see that out of Beterbiev, right? Like, he's a monster, and he goes in and he does his thing, but he's always Beterbiev. He's always that guy. Bivol is the tactician. Bivol is the guy that can make the changes. And I think he didn't even really need to make the changes. I think Bivol kind of is his own worst enemy. And I'm going to agree with you on one thing. I think Bivol doesn't take the chances he needs to take, right? I mean, I've seen several times where Beterbiev was hurt. Not just hurt, but a little woozy. You know what I mean? I think he could have maybe took a chance or two and got him out of there. Same for Canelo. I think he really could have ended that Canelo fight earlier if he wanted to. I think he strung that along. He wanted to win. He wanted to dominate, and he did that. But with a guy with Beterbiev, you never know. So when you get them chances, you have to step on the gas. He didn't do it. A little bit of it scared. I will say that. Not necessarily scared, but cautious, you know. With a guy like Beterbiev, you take a chance. That means, shit, I might get knocked out my damn self, and you don't want to do that. You know what I mean? He's riding high. He's got to win over Canelo. He's got a lot of eyes on him right now in this really tough fight against Beterbiev. But I just see Bivol coming out ahead on this one. I really can't see any frame of mind where Beterbiev changes anything from that first fight. I can't see that.
Well, you know what the beauty in this is that if Bivol wins, then you got a trilogy.
And that's what I was about to say when he was brought that up. I say you're going to have to wait because there's going to be a trilogy. So Benavidez is going to have to hang out, okay? You're going to have to wait at least another 6 months or so for this third fight, you know, at the end of the year. And then we can talk Benavidez versus winner of Bivol Beterbiev.
Well, that to me, that's not happening. Again, Beterbiev. Lucas sits here and talks up all the things Beterbiev is known to do. He's not going to change, blah, 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 blah. He hasn't lost. He doesn't need to change. He hasn't lost. He's undefeated. Knocked out everybody he's ever faced but one. Saturday night, he has the chance to correct that. And I think he will. And no, it's not going to be another trilogy. It's going to be Benavidez, Beterbiev by the end of this year.
The style of Beterbiev, right? Usually these guys don't go undefeated. Usually it goes to a point where, oh, you finally hit that wall. You finally met somebody that can take these licks and give it back to him. Bivol's that guy, okay? Bivol's got a granite chin. He is not knocking out Bivol. He's just not. He got hit clean by Joe Smith Jr. He's been get clean by everybody else, Beterbiev included. He's able to take it out and if not, dish it back even more, okay? I love Beterbiev, and Beterbiev is a monster, but Beterbiev is Beterbiev. Someone is going to come along and slay that dragon, and you might as well knight Bivol right now.
I mean, I'll give you that. I don't think so. I think Benavidez is the one who can slay it.
Well, let's hear from the other two. Let's hear from the other two, okay? It's too much of us.
No, if you're talking Benavidez, Beterbiev, I think you're really jumping ahead there. I would rather wait to see what happens between Beterbiev, Bivol. But if that was to come in the future, if Beterbiev can pull this off, I don't think that it might go well for Benavidez. Based on his fight with Morel, I think he'd have a lot of trouble pushing Beterbiev back. But I would like to see it. And to be perfectly honest, I don't care who wins. I just want to see it. I'm not concerned about who's going to win and who's not going to win. I just want to see this fight. Benavidez would be an amazing fight. And Bivol as well versus Benavidez would be good too. Yeah, let's just see it and see what happens. But in this one, I got Bivol.
All right.
Probably by, I'd say split maybe.
Another close one, says James.
Was that?
Yeah.
You said
last
another
fight,
close one?
I think it was a split before. It wasn't a majority. I can't remember.
I just don't want to see boring. And unfortunately, if it's Bivol that wins, it might be a little boring. And there was plenty of points in that last fight that were a little lackluster to me. So, it didn't live up to my hype of what I thought I was going to be enjoying that day. So I need for there to be some better action between Bivol and Beterbiev this time. And more than likely, if it's energetic and it's a busy fight between the two of them, we'll get more entertainment out of it. Because I like last fight, I know everybody's all hyped about the matchup, but I mean, if you really think back to that fight, it was a little, I was finding myself a little,
It
just a little
sidetrack.
It was lackluster. It was lackluster.
I'm like, this is not what they done hyped this fight up to be. And now I'm sitting here and I'm like nudging my partner in crime, trying to keep him awake. So I need to like, they need to make sure that it's more entertaining than last time. I need to see some viciousness from Bivol, not just regular punches. And let me see, you really want to get Beterbiev. You want to dish out some pain. Okay? This is boxing. And Beterbiev, with every punch, he always want to give out some pain. We see that, but you both got to do it. Like Bivol he's got to match that energy if he thinks if he wants these judges, if he thinks this fight is going to last 12 rounds, he's got to be a little bit more showier than what he was in the first fight.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, if that's what you want, I'm sorry. I just don't want you to be disappointed on fight night. You're not going to get that. That's just not Bivol. You've seen it versus Canelo. You've seen it against Beterbiev. He does not break discipline for anyone. He fights his fight.
How bad do you want to say you got the W against Beterbiev, Bivol?
I hear you.
How bad do you want to see it? And that's what it basically goes down to. Like,
and who you got?
Show me the money, but it show me the charisma and the entertainment factor. Damn it.
I mean, this is the new day. You do need to be entertaining, clearly, or you're not going to ever be on the A side. I mean, that's just how it is. Bivol is great, but he's never going to be on that A side just because he doesn't have that high entertainment value. Who did you predict, though? Who you got?
I didn't.
Let's do it then.
Yeah, I kind of am leaning towards Beterbiev. I'm kind of feeling like this time he might have a different game plan in mind, even though you think that he's one-dimensional. He might have to know he got to start out earlier. He can't let so many rounds go by this time, and then have a great second half. He's got to make some things happen for himself and apply some pressure early. Um, and that's what it is. So we'll have to see who has a better game plan. I'm sure on paper Bivol's is better, but we got to see this action, got to see this aggression, and I definitely do want to see Bivol look like he wanted more.
That's fair. Let's let's talk keys though. Like, what if Beterbiev needed to do one thing to win this fight against Bivol? If you could say one piece of instruction to him, what would it be?
Let's start earlier. Like,
Beterbiev's gonna start earlier. Okay, Rob,
we gotta start earlier.
It's hard to say this, especially against the opponent like Bivol, but you do want to see him. A very good key for him. You want to see him be a little bit more accurate with those punches. You do. Beterbiev.
He's pretty well.
Yeah, you want to see him be a little bit more accurate because, especially if you want to dictate the fight with the pressure and put it on him a little bit more, he's got to be a little bit more accurate with the punching.
I think that was Bivol, making him miss them punches.
Maybe
he has the better footwork and he's able to make you miss more than you normally do.
I agree.
I think you're both right.
I think that's the key. That's why it's a key for him to make an adjustment and try to be at least more accurate.
Yeah, and like I said, I agree with you both. That would be my key. Would be the first 3 rounds. Do not throw fucking punch at the head. Everything is body shots. Them first 3 rounds. Don't throw nothing else. Put in some work to that body. Slow that man down. That's really his go-to right now. That's what I would say.
I would think that Beterbiev needs to come out really strong and like really pressure Bivol and just try to snake those rounds from him just based on aggression. But it is Bivol, so it's not going to be easy.
And now for Bivol. Rob, you went first last time. What would you tell Bivol?
I mean, it's obvious. It's hard for me with him because he is, y'all. He's robotic.
Textbook. I was going to say textbook.
It's kind of the same. Yeah, I agree.
He's robotic, so it's hard to tell him to do something that he normally isn't, but you got to be more aggressive throughout the whole fight. You have to be more aggressive with your punches. And a big thing takeaway for me with Bivol has always been the choice, the combination choices in his punches, right? You don't see a whole lot of uppercuts. You don't see a whole lot of punches with big intentions, so to speak. You see great footwork, and then you see the jab, and then he works off the jab 100% of the time. And you just don't see the aggressive type punches like uppercuts, different angles even. If he can land combinations at him and throw him off from different angles to where he isn't able to see what's coming at him all the time. I mean, you just need all of that.
You're not going to see that, though. I hate to be a party ruiner, just like I did Sakura right earlier. I'm about to upset you now. That's not what Bivol will ever do. He is disciplined. He's keeping those short punches to never be out of place, right? Mm-hmm. To always be that quick to come back home. If he's throwing these wild hooks, you can't be here, and you can't be throwing wild shit like. I'm sorry, Rob, but I disagree with most of what you said. And that's only because you cannot be that aggressive. Now, I'm going to tell you he does need to be more aggressive, but you said the entire fight, and I got to disagree. You're trying to come on at those last 20 to 30 seconds. You're trying to steal that round. You're trying to put that exclamation part on the work that you did throughout that round. But in those last 20 seconds, when you hear that fucking tap, 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 you better put your fucking your pedal to the metal and make sure that they're seeing you and they're seeing the work that you're doing, because I feel he got robbed this last time, but he needs to make sure that those judges see it and they see that aggression, even if it is only for 20 seconds. That way, he's minimizing his exposure out there. He's not just wildly aggressive and getting knocked out in the middle of this round. You cannot fuck with Beterbiev. You will get your ass knocked out.
In my opinion, every fighter should believe they're just as equally as powerful as their adversary.
That's
if
stupid.
not,
you cannot buy into your own hype. You cannot do that. You have to know yourself. I'm sorry, but a true fighter knows, man, I ain't got it like that. Like if Tim Bradley went out there every time saying, like, oh, I got dynamite in these hands, this man would have died in the ring. Look, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. Look, I love Tim Bradley, okay? I love Amir Khan, but these dudes got pillows for Paulie Malignaggi. He can't go out there saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna knock everybody out." He can't say the shit like he did to us, like Curtis Stevens did, talking about he gonna knock out and blow up whole worlds with his power. Like that delusions of grandeur, and that's gonna get you fucked up in the boxing game.
Let's get back on topic. I mean, I was gonna say
that's what I want to see, damn it. I want to see Bivol be more aggressive. Shit.
Okay. Well,
what would you say to Bivol?
What I was thinking. I was just gonna say I need him to be angrier. I need him to like show me some pain. Get like say you wanna hurt this man. Like don't just say you wanna outbox him. You saw what that did last time. You know, you need to say you want to hurt him and make some punches land ferociously, not just accurately. We need them to, mix it up, right, James? Well, that's what my advice would be.
That's one of the things I say is that Bivol just isn't that emotional. He's like very level-headed. I call him Mr. 1-2 because he does it so well. But I think Mr. 1-2's got to be like Mr. 1-2-3, 1-2 in this fight. Mm-hmm. Like really, really step up the punch count just to keep Beterbiev off of him. He does it well. I mean, he did it against Canelo morning, noon, and night. Just outboxed him, just boxed Canelo's ears off, pushed him to the ropes. Canelo thought he could take it easy on the ropes. That didn't work out very well. He took a whooping on the ropes. So that's another thing. If he can push Beterbiev, which is almost impossible, but if he can push Beterbiev to the ropes, that's going to be a long night for Beterbiev. I don't know that anyone's ever done that, but that's another one of the keys. And then
I don't know. Beterbiev goes backwards.
I mean, they both have that like that one gear, and that's forward, full tilt. But you know what? If Beterbiev can push him back a little bit and get him on the ropes, that's going to be a long night for Beterbiev. This is a tough one, but you just got to mix up those combinations a little bit better. He's very, very predictable, but he does it so well that it doesn't matter that he's predictable. It's coming, you know it's coming, and here it is. What are you going to do? It's a tough one. It's a tough call.
Hey, James, Chris Brown got this song where the lyrics is like, switch up the tempo, change up the tempo. So that's your 1-2, 1-2-3s. Yeah, that song came in my mind when you was describing that. So, Bivol, I'm going to need for you to listen to that song a little bit. Like I see he have his head set on a lot, his headphones.
Put that in your headphones, please.
Yeah, like, you know, and it's literally sung the same way, like where he switches up the tempo and changes it up. Well, so he gotta have to get some of that rhythm in him.
He's just got to mix it up.
Yeah.
He's got like this really, his toolbox is great. It's just like one drawer full of tools and that's it. He doesn't have like the whole set, you know, but it works. It works for him.
No, you got a good point.
I think he does have them, but he don't like to take risks.
He don't like to use them, right? He got him, but he likes to go back to the same old tools. And it's like, well, wait a minute, you could do it better with this tool, and instead of keep using the same old wrench, mix it, yeah.
Yeah, because he, like, for example, he does go to the body, but he doesn't throw a hook to the body. It's kind of like I don't know,
like a straight, isn't it?
Like a power
straight or a
jab
three to the body, or he can throw it to the jaw. Either way, he can go like low or go upstairs, but it's the same punch. I've never seen him, or maybe I have, but you don't really see him throwing uppercuts a lot. So hopefully, if he can mix up something.
That's what I said. That's
repertoire.
Disciplined fighters don't really use the uppercut a lot. I mean, the uppercut kind of puts you in a bad place, I think. Just the natural motion of the punch is putting you at harm's way anyway. So yeah, it's very not Bivol.
Well, no, it's not good for either one of them because they're fighting middle distance, and that's probably the last thing you want to do at middle distance.
but Beterbiev does kind of like lean in some, which would make it the perfect punch.
Yeah.
So, but he's like the technician that doesn't like to use all of his technical punches.
He holds himself back on that. When he sees it, he's like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, if I see it, if
I see an uppercut, I'ma yell, "Oh shit!" If I see a Bivol uppercut, then he's really real this time.
So I actually
he better go in that training camp with Usyk. That's what he should be doing. He should have been in a training camp where Usyk can show him how to do it, how to use it.
That'd be nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, now an old dog, he's just doing the same shit over and over.
Yeah, I just pulled those odds. Bivol is actually a favorite in this one to defeat Beterbiev, who is listed as. I mean, this is basically another 50-50 fight, guys. This card is stacked. Mm-hmm. As much as I rant and rave against Diaz, and might be one y'all want to actually purchase. It is a good card. It is a very stacked card. They promised no pay-per-view. So I myself, I can't do it. I'm gonna have to go to somebody else's house that's gonna probably buy it. Me myself, I can't spend my own money on this. I just can't. I can't do it. Not for Diaz. Sorry, Diaz. Get the hell out of here. Are you guys surprised that Bivol is the favorite going into it, especially with Beterbiev winning the first fight?
Not at all.
No.
No, because a lot of people did think that he still won the fight. But
do you think it is based on styles, guys? The fact that this is the more disciplined fighter, are they rolling that way? Do you think that's it?
No, they're just going with who they think the outcome was in the first one.
Okay.
I think they think it's a trilogy, like y'all are calling it. Honestly, I don't
want to see no trilogy if it ain't entertaining. Damn it, they can keep that trilogy if it's still like a little. I don't need to see a third one. I really don't.
I like the first fight. I mean, I know it wasn't as action packed as maybe what we were hoping for, but I still like the first fight. So we'll
don't
see.
Don't hype me up for no war, and then I am snoozing like And it takes me a lot to get there. So
yeah.
Well, Shakur, this whole card though is gonna be action packed. So you probably gonna be like me and already on tilt.
We'll see.
And on tilt before the main event gets there.
I'm reserving my energy because they done already got rid of my Shakur versus Schofield fight, which was one of the best ones I was looking for on the card. Like, so I'm just not getting hyped about any fights these days. I'm just I'm reserved and low key till I actually see them brawling on TV or apps.
Real quick, back on that one, my fault. But so Shakur, you got to remember Shakur did sign a new deal with Eddie Hearn for this fight, which is why he was included on the card. So they're 100% looking at finding a replacement for him to include him on this card. He can't afford any more layoffs. He's already been in a big major layoff right now, so he needs to return to the ring. They're looking at a couple of options. They're looking at Josh Pradley, who's from Britain. He's 15-0. Or Morocco's Moussa Ghulam, who's 20-1. Those are the two leading options under consideration right now. So they're definitely looking at keeping him on the bout with one of these replacement fights.
Not the same.
No.
Listen, they can listen. Keep them busy. I agree. If you can keep them on the card, but then doesn't that mess up all the other fights that everybody's saying is such great matchups? I don't know.
Yeah.
I can understand him wanting to stay busy
Shakur
or
is still
get
gonna
that
be.
busy. I get
Shakur is
that.
still gonna be a name, and I definitely want to see him on this card, regardless of who he fights. Especially because of this new fight deal with Eddie Hearn. They are talking about William Cepeda or Tank later on in the year as possible fights for Shakur as well.
Okay. I just want Shakur to be careful. I mean, he's still young. We've seen a lot of these guys go the wrong way with, TBAs and layoffs. I know this one's not his fault. I'm not saying that. But he wants to make sure that he actually gets a fight, like you're saying, Rob. If he still doesn't end up on this card, that is very, very bad news for him.
Right.
Don't want to waste that beautiful
but they got
career.
the Boots fight. I mean, Matchroom got a couple of other U.S. fights actually coming up. One of them is right in Atlantic City with Boots versus Stanio. So, I mean, it wouldn't be too much to move him to one of those other. One of them's here in Orlando. So it wouldn't be too much to move him to one of those two cards.
I mean, that's fine if it's Schofield. Then it needs to be.
Even if it's not Schofield,
it needs to be a top caliber matchup. Otherwise, just take the top contender that you have out there right now, whatever options you have out there, and put them on this card.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's time with him, and it's time with Tank. I'm tired of the other fights. I don't want to see Lamont Roach. Fuck that fight. No offense, Lamont Roach, but Tank's past this, right? Tank's beyond this. You've had this belt. You've been, gallivanting around, but you ain't fighting nobody at the top. Like, we still don't really know what you're capable of, right? We want to know. Get a big fight, Tank.
Maybe the Mods team got a hellified strategy to make this entertaining. And that's what is, that's what's important these days is entertainment factor. But at the same time, yeah, I'm ready to see Davis take some more chances with others that are considered higher ranked in the division. But with all that being said, I forgot I wanted to send a shout out to Connor Coyle, who inked out like a draw with Malecki. How you say his name?
Vito, whatever. Vito something.
Malecki. Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, I'm glad that sometimes you pick what you consider a lesser opponent and they rise to the occasion and they give you a hard night and a hard lesson.
That was good.
I'm really happy for his performance that night last weekend too. So shout out Connor.
And well, then I'll give a shout out to Barbosa Jr. I've talked trash about you on the show before. And I'm going to give you kudos because you're still undefeated, kid.
Okay.
You're still undefeated, and you should have a great year this year coming up.
James, any shout-outs there, bud?
Any shout-outs? I would say second the motion and go Barbosa. That was pretty interesting, and hopefully he gets that fight with Teofimo soon because I believe he deserves it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, and I was kind of like pleasantly surprised when he got the nods, because I don't know if I was expecting it or not. But
shout out to Turk making this card happen. I know you're watching. Keep these matches pouring.
Yeah, right.
Thank you all for tuning in. It's been a great show. Don't forget to check us out every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Thank you to all my co-hosts as well, Sakura, Rob, and James. We'll see you again next week. Have a good night.